I think obviously building, there's probably a lot of learning curves and experiences. What has been kind of your number one, I guess, biggest uh, failure or struggle running this business, and how did you overcome it, and what did you think you learned from it?
So, I mean, there's a couple to highlight if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I forced my partner. I mean, it's bad enough that I was spending 10 plus hours a week, but I would hound him. Uh, I made us do all of our accounting on Google Sheets for like 2 years, and I'm talking like down to the minute transactions, and it was insane. Like it's only in January that we switched to QuickBooks, which has nothing to do with our service, but it has everything to do with it. I mean, it's just crazy that I made so much of my focus managing a spreadsheet that literally had nothing to do with our execution, had nothing to do with customer service. So, while that like didn't directly impact the company, obviously that impacts the company. That's a huge amount of time that I was putting in on something that should never have happened. So that was a huge failure in my opinion, even though it's not the like bomb going off story you would expect. But then there's other things. You hear this a lot, but and I agree with it. It's like it's just ego, right? I needed to get out of the way. So we're working with. I mentioned him, Nathan Collier. He's going to start being our writer coach until we grow beyond a one person's ability to do this. We had my partner Morgan and myself splitting coaching, which is good. We needed to cover that. We weren't delivering feedback in the most positive way every time, and
Yeah.
even our actionable insights were mixed messages. So the writer would get one thing from Morgan, one thing from me, and they'd be, the results would vary month to month because they would be trying these different tactics, which I think had a lot of value in the first 6 months, and I think like a lot of things in our company on the back end too. Like some of it needs to be experimental, and then at a certain point, it's pretty obvious what's working and what's not. So well, now is a time for us to step back and say, let's get a pro in here, tell them what we know. We've obviously tested this person as a writer over months to make sure they understand what our service is so that their feedback is within that context and really appropriate. And then really just trust like this person's way better at this than we are, the coaching role. I'm a really damn good ghostwriter, but it doesn't mean that I'm the best coach for ghostwriters. So
Yeah.
I did and still do answer questions, and I did my best and still do my best. But I think that's another example of like I just need to step out of the way a little bit. Not as bad as the spreadsheet, but that's little things like that. That's part of, thanks to your advice, like things we're going to keep working on. It's just part of the founder trajectory from my limited understanding. Just keep focusing on what we do well and keep finding people better than us at those things. So